My name's Robert Joyce, and this is 30-Minute Life, Living with Multiple Sclerosis. Today, I will be sharing with you how I have overcome an obstacle that was in my life and the benefit of seizing control over the situation. I'll also talk to you a little bit about diet, the food that I eat, and some suggestions for you. Thank you for listening. This post was originally written on August 11th, 2017, and it's entitled Living with MS, Accepting the Challenge. Accepting the challenge of living with MS is a choice that you have to actively make. 25 years ago, when I was diagnosed, was when I first realized that this disease required a different mindset to what I had coming out of university and working in my first job. My first week blogging, and I have been excited and a little overwhelmed by the response to one of my posts. I did not expect this reaction. I don't like that I have MS or that I have a continuous migraine-like headache. I would never choose this, and at times I get very angry, frustrated, and sad that these are part of my life. By nature, I am a positive person, so I choose to concentrate on what I can control. Control over something doesn't mean that it will be easy. In fact, I find that usually if I have control over an aspect of my life, to make the decision to control it can mean that I have to overcome some fear or anxiety. For example, during the week, I was early for an appointment. The place that I had the appointment was on a steep hill and about 1/3 of the way up the hill. I don't like hills. They take a lot of effort, as my right leg does not go as quickly as my left leg. It is slow and heavy, and I have to really concentrate to get it to do what I want. Now, I had a choice: stay in the car or explore. I chose to explore and walk to the top of the hill. I figured the exercise would be good and that some fresh air in my lungs would also be positive. With my stick in my right hand, I faced my Everest, or at least a very small Everest. Step by step, I went up the hill. Sweat was dripping down my back and my head was pounding. I was determined not to let a hill be my nemesis. When I got to the top, there was a sitting area surrounding a standing stone. Very surprising and welcome. I walked towards the back of the area and sat down, took a breath, and looked up. Wow, what a view. Totally unexpected and dramatic. I could see for miles. I took a picture, but it doesn't really give the total effect. I was delighted, and it was well worth the effort. Diet and MS. I saw on my Twitter feed a post about how people with MS have less taste and smell compared with non-MSers. I checked out the post and loved the suggestion that you add colour, texture, and extra spices and herbs to give your meal an extra zing. Kind of a compensation for not being able to taste properly. So I linked to the post in my blog. I was surprised and dismayed that number 4 on the list was to add MSG, monosodium glutamate, to your meal as a flavour enhancer. We have MS, a chronic disease where our bodies are attacking us. They are advising that we add a chemical to our meal instead of all natural food. Totally crazy. Since I have been diagnosed, there have been many different diets suggested, from the Swank diet to the Terry Wahls diet. They all have the common thread of no additives and only eat unprocessed food. No chemicals. Shameful that this is on the internet. During the week, I did find a very tasty recipe for a vegetarian paella, and I linked to the recipe on my site. I used turmeric instead of saffron to give that special yellow colour, and as I couldn't find artichoke hearts, I used green beans and asparagus. The result was tasty, and I will make this meal again. So that was my post, and This is the challenge of having a chronic illness. We feel out of control. Our bodies are fighting against us. Our bodies are collapsing around us, and we feel like we have no control over this aspect of our life. And we don't. We do have control, though, how we react to this loss of control. So I push aside that aspect. But what I do is take control over the things that I can control. And I'm active about it. So, for example, when I was going up this hill, I did have that choice not to do it. But I prefer to push myself to that limit and get to it. And actually, sometimes I go beyond it. And I pay the price. And I end up being in bed, or I am tired, or it could be 2 or 3 days before I recover. It teaches me a little bit of a lesson, but also I remember when I was learning how to do weights that the most important weight that you lift is that last one where you try and go beyond what is your limit. Okay. And that's what I try to do. Even sailors have an expression of sailing too close to the wind. And if you go beyond that limit, your boat will fall over. And that's what happens to me. But in order to find where that limit is, you have to go right up against it, and sometimes you will go past it. And I think that's very important, because I think if your limit is here, if you keep only going close to it but never getting there, I think that limit slowly comes down and you lose that ability. However, if you keep pushing yourself to the limit and even going beyond it, I think you kind of push that limit up, or at least you maintain it. And I think that is really important. It also gives us a bit more control over our lives and our destiny. So this metaphorical hill that I climbed, I pushed myself, and I actually was able to do it. So I could have probably done more, right? And so that's the lesson there, that I thought my limit brought me nearly to the top of the hill, but the reality was I could go beyond that. So I think that's really a very important lesson for anybody who has a chronic illness. Then when it comes to diet, it's amazing that we have this body and it's trying to battle against some illness or disease that's fighting against us. Now, if I give my body, this machine, bad fuel, it doesn't have all the tools it needs in order to combat this illness. And that's why I find it very important to eat healthily, know my ingredients, eat whole foods, buy peppers and sweet potato and buy butternut squash. Try those other vegetables that you didn't look at in the grocery store, because we need to give our body the best fuel. And too many heavy things, too many processed foods, chemicals, they all inhibit our body's ability to heal itself. So we need to do that. And another aspect of this is when you do decide to eat in a particular way, whichever diet you use, whether it's overcoming MS, swank, Terry Walls, or any one of the other many diets that people suggest for multiple sclerosis. By doing that, you are, again, taking control over something. And you can have a feeling of huge achievement by being active in how you approach your diet and how you approach your life with your chronic illness. So that's my real thought for this post, is control, how to seize it back, how to gain it. And I wish you the very best in your journey, that you will find the ways that you can take back control of your life. Thank you for listening. My name is Robert Joyce, and this is a 30-minute life, my life with multiple sclerosis. And I would ask you to share this with friends of yours. And also, if you could press the subscribe button, it would help me greatly. Thank you very much.